withholding crucial information. CNN's David Colville reports now from Shanghai.
At the start of the outbreak, this is where China directed the world's attention, suggesting that this Wuhan seafood market was the source of the novel coronavirus outbreak. CNN even traveled there just before the city locked down in January. Officials had shut down the wet market, and security told us to leave. U.S. intelligence officials tell CNN they are investigating another possible source, suggesting the virus may not have originated naturally as China has advertised, but rather that it possibly started in a Wuhan lab. Sources say it is one of many origin theories the U.S. is looking into. Chinese officials pushing back against that claim on Thursday, the foreign ministry spokesperson dismissing that the virus started in a lab, instead stressing that, quote, this is a scientific issue that should be studied by scientists and medical experts. Yet, it is the same spokesperson who last month floated a controversial theory, tweeting that it might be the U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan.
China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen. Not as long as I'm president. It comes from China.
The latest debate over the virus's actual origin coincides with a damning Associated Press report. It claims China sat on critical information for 6 full days, from January 14th until January 20th, downplaying the outbreak in public before finally revealing the full scope of the threat. The AP
that these types of places pose a risk to us all. But is that true? Our Maggie Ruley files this report.
China is now reporting many more cases of SARS.
The outbreak spreads. More people infected this morning with that dangerous new strain of bird flu.
A new front opening in the fight against Ebola. Word of a deadly illness arriving in America for the first time. It is called MERS.
The new coronavirus may be the first pandemic in recent memory to shut down the world, but it's not the first of its kind, and scientists say it won't be the last.
We'll never be able to be risk-free. There will always be potential spillover as we co-evolve on this planet. That's the way it's going to be.
About 3/4 of all infectious diseases originate in animals, some exotic, others from livestock like chickens. Even the seemingly cute and cuddly, all could be vectors for highly infectious, potentially deadly, novel virus outbreaks in humans through contact or consumption. And many scientists fear wildlife wet markets, where thousands of people and animals gather together, are a breeding ground for outbreaks.
I think they should shut down those things right away.
The nation's leading infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, tells Fox and Friends that now is the time to act.
It boggles my mind how when we have so many diseases that emanate out of that unusual human-animal interface, that we don't just shut it down.
At least 60 U.S. lawmakers
who believe it may have originated at a research facility not far from the Wuhan fish market. While they say more research needs to be done to find solid proof, such labs are known to contain disease-ridden animals, including hundreds of bats. Our Kim Hyo-sun with the details.
Amid the continued spread of the COVID-19 virus, there's rising speculation the virus could have originated from a government laboratory in Wuhan, rather than the widely held belief that it emerged from the city's Huanan seafood markets. Citing a report published by Chinese scientists, a Chinese-language newspaper published in Hong Kong, Mingpao, and the British daily The Mirror explained Sunday that the Wuhan Center for Disease Control, or WHCDC, could have spawned the contagion in Hubei province. According to the report penned by Bo Tao Xiao and Lei Xiao of the South China University of Technology, the research lab, which is only 280 meters away from the Huanan seafood market, kept disease-ridden animals, including more than 600 bats. It stated that while it's plausible the virus was leaked from the lab and contaminated initial patients in this epidemic, more solid evidence is required through future study. The report also raised a possibility that the Wuhan Institute of Virology could have leaked the virus while it was carrying out tests involving Chinese horseshoe bats.
Coronaviruses before this, where the virus might have come from. So one thing I can tell you is that this is not a bioweapon. Nobody made this virus in the laboratory. This is a product of nature. What we believe is that the virus, probably a long time ago, originated from a bat species, because there are coronaviruses of bats that are very similar to this new coronavirus, the SARS coronavirus 2. But there are other parts of the virus that look more like other animal coronaviruses. So what we believe is that this is a recombinant. So the virus combined from two different species to create a virus that is now infecting humans. Now, we don't know how long the virus was in humans. It could be just a few months, could be years, could be decades. But what we do know is that there are a few small changes that were made in the virus that allowed it to spread more rapidly. We know that the origin of this virus is different than the original SARS virus. That virus was actually a zoonosis. It's a disease that spreads from animals directly to humans. This virus definitely originated in animals, probably bats and some other animals too. You probably heard on the news talk about this spiny anteater that has some viruses that are